Hello, my name is Colm Kelly. I'm a solicitor in County Kerry, and I wanted to talk to you today about an area of law known as recovery of special damages in settling a High Court personal injury action. If you have been injured and it's not through your own fault, then there is a possibility of obtaining damages for the injury that you have suffered. The courts look at the area of damages and split the question of damages into two distinct areas. Those known as general damages, which are damages that you will obtain for the pain and suffering associated with your injury. The second area of damages is known as that of special damages. Special damages tend to relate to your out-of-pocket expenses related to your case and also loss of earnings. Out-of-pocket expenses tend to be easily enough identified, as they tend to be items such as cost of x-rays, cost of an MRI, attending a physiotherapist, travel to a doctor's appointment, and those type of elements. We advise clients in all cases to have all of this information fully documented and listed prior to attending their personal injuries and settlement negotiations. The question of loss of earnings tends to be somewhat more involved in a personal injury action. If you have been out of work because of your injury, it can be readily identifiable actually what has your loss of earnings been for that period of time. You might have been out of work for a period of 3 or 4 months, and your employer would be in a position to give you a certificate stating what were your loss of wages or your loss of salary through that period. Now, there are other elements that will be factored into the issue of actually whether or not you are paid fully the amount that you have lost for being out of work. The first factor that has to be taken into account is, well, have you received any payments from the Department of Social Welfare, such as illness benefit or injury benefit, in respect of the period of time that you have been out? If those payments from the Department of Social Welfare are what is known as a recoverable benefit, well then that is social welfare payment has to be taken into account and deducted from your loss of earnings claim. Just because you have been out of work and certified as on certified sick leave does not automatically guarantee or mean that you are entitled to a full pound for pound recompense for your loss of wages. Particularly if you've been on a protracted period of sick leave due to your injury, the court will assess the nature of your injuries and determine whether or not those injuries would be so severe as to justify you obtaining a full recompense for the period of time where you've been out of work. If you have been out of work due to an injury, but the court determines that you would be in a position to do alternative, less onerous work, well then those factors will be taken into account and will serve to reduce the amount that you may be paid on a loss of earnings claim. So your loss of earnings claim is very much related to the nature and extent of your injuries. If you have very severe injuries and it's very clear that you're totally incapacitated due to the nature of the injuries, well, then it is highly likely that you will be in a position to obtain a full loss of earnings case. However, if it is the case that perhaps your injuries are of a more milder nature, well then the court will actually determine whether or not you were able to do alternative work. A way of proving whether or not you are able in a position to do alternative work is by obtaining what is known as a vocational rehabilitation report. These are reports from a particular expert who will be determine the nature and the style of a work that you are in a position to do as an alternative to your normal day-to-day work. There is also potential to obtain recovery for future loss of earnings, that is in the event that you are not able to work again in the future. This amount is generally determined by obtaining an actuarial report setting out the likely value of your future loss of earnings. What an actuary will do will be that they will prepare what is known as a capital value, that is a value now in a lump sum of your long-term loss of earnings. Again, the amount that you can claim for this future loss of earnings is very much dependent on the nature and the style of the injury that you have obtained. It's interesting to note that when you are looking to settle a personal injury action, that an amount that might be offered to you by an insurance company in the context of a personal injury settlement negotiation will be an overall global figure, which will include both your general and special damages. So it's very important that you have a thorough research done in respect of your special damages claim, and to take this into account in settling your personal injury action. I hope you found this information helpful. If you need any more information about personal injury actions or any matter regarding the personal injury area, please do not hesitate to contact me by email at ckelly@hcalaw.ie. That's ckelly@hcalaw.ie. Thank you.